The movie begins with a teenage boy jolting awake inside a dark, rattling elevator, surrounded by strange supplies and unfamiliar noises. His mind completely blank, with no memory of who he is or how he got there. As the elevator rises, panic sets in, especially when a sudden noise reveals a live pig among the cargo, hinting that whatever is happening here is not normal. When the doors finally open, blinding daylight floods in, and dozens of boys stare down at him like he's an unexpected delivery. Before he can even process what's happening, he's dragged out, called a greenie, and thrown into a place that will soon redefine his entire existence. The boy tries to run, driven by pure instinct, but immediately slams into towering stone walls that stretch impossibly high, sealing him inside a massive open area called the Glade. There is no visible exit, only farmland, wooden huts, and frightened faces watching his every move. He's locked in a cage until the group's leader, Albie, questions him and calmly explains that memory loss is normal here. Every boy arrived the same way, one per month, with nothing but a name that slowly returns. The place runs on rules, order, and survival, and breaking those rules has consequences no one wants to face. As the new arrival is released, he's shown how the Glade functions like a fragile society. Everyone has a job, from farming to building to cooking, and survival depends on cooperation. Supplies arrive monthly through the same elevator, which they call the box, along with a new boy. No one knows who sends it or why. Beyond the Glade stand massive stone doors embedded in the walls, and behind them lies the maze, a shifting labyrinth that changes every night. The rules are clear. Do your part, never hurt another person, and never go into the maze unless you're a runner. The new boy becomes obsessed with the doors, especially when he learns that selected runners enter the maze every morning to map it and search for an exit. He meets Newt, who explains that the maze has been studied for years, yet no one has ever escaped. At night, the walls move, sealing the maze completely, and anything trapped inside after dark is almost certainly killed by mechanical monsters known as grievers. As fear and curiosity mix, the boy begins to realize that this place isn't just a prison, it's a test designed to push them beyond their limits. Tension explodes when a confrontation with Gally, the most aggressive boy in the Glade, turns into a brutal wrestling match. The new boy, despite being smaller and inexperienced, manages to throw Gally to the ground, shocking everyone. Gally retaliates with a vicious kick, knocking him unconscious. As darkness closes in, fragments of memory rush back, and the boy finally remembers his name. Thomas. That night, Thomas dreams of sterile laboratories, experiments, and a haunting phrase whispered by a woman's voice, "Wicked is good," a message that lingers like a warning. The next day, Thomas learns the darker truth about the Glade when he sees names carved into the wall, many of them crossed out to mark the dead. While doing chores, he stumbles upon human bones and graves hidden beneath the soil, proof that survival here comes at a horrifying cost. Suddenly, a boy named Ben attacks him violently, accusing Thomas of causing everything. Ben is restrained, but the group discovers he's been stung by a griever, triggering a process called the changing, where memories slowly return alongside madness and aggression. With no cure and no way to save him, the boys make the heartbreaking decision to banish Ben into the maze before nightfall, knowing he won't survive. His name is crossed off the wall, another life erased. Thomas is shaken, realizing this place doesn't offer second chances. That night, his dreams intensify, showing him a woman helping him through experiments, reinforcing the sense that he's been connected to this nightmare long before arriving. The maze feels less like an accident and more like something carefully engineered around him. The tension escalates when Albie, desperate for answers, enters the maze to retrace Ben's steps and is stung by a griever. When he doesn't return before sunset, Minho, the top runner, struggles to carry his unconscious body back. With the doors closing and rules forbidding rescue attempts, Thomas makes a split-second decision and runs into the maze, trapping himself inside overnight. This reckless act marks him as different, someone willing to break every rule if it means saving a life. Inside the maze, Thomas faces terror unlike anything he's imagined. Using quick thinking, he hides Albie among hanging vines and narrowly avoids detection by a griever, discovering the creature is part machine, part nightmare. When the monster returns, Thomas is forced into a desperate chase through shifting corridors. With the walls closing in, he lures the griever into a trap, crushing it between moving stone. Against all odds, Thomas survives the night, something no one has ever done before. At dawn, Thomas and Minho emerge carrying Albie, stunning the entire Glade. Thomas's actions spark fierce debate. Gally demands punishment, while others see Thomas as the key to escaping. Before a decision is made, the box arrives early, carrying no supplies but an unconscious girl. Thomas recognizes her immediately from his dreams. In her hand is a note reading, "She's the last one ever." When she briefly wakes, she speaks Thomas's name, confirming their connection. The girl, Teresa, becomes another mystery wrapped in fear. As Thomas joins Minho and the runners to investigate the dead griever, they discover a strange device embedded inside it, marked with the letters WCKD. The same symbol appears on their supplies, revealing that whoever built the maze also created the grievers. Thomas pushes to return to the maze, convinced the answers are there, and despite resistance, he's officially made a runner. Minho reveals his maps of the maze, showing every shifting pattern he's recorded, yet no exit. The device from the griever changes everything, responding to certain sections of the maze like a guide. Teresa wakes again, frightened but determined, remembering only fragments of working alongside Thomas in experiments. She reveals 2 vials marked Wicked, one of which is used to save Albie by triggering the changing and restoring his memories. While Thomas is punished and locked away, his bond with Chuck, the youngest boy in the Glade, deepens. Chuck dreams of going home, of giving his parents a small wooden doll he carved. Thomas promises to get them all out, a promise that carries enormous weight. The next morning, Thomas and Minho follow the device deep into a forbidden section of the maze, discovering a hidden entrance that reacts to the code of the maze itself. As alarms blare and walls shift violently, Thomas and Minho barely escape with their lives, confirming that the maze isn't random, but a carefully programmed system. Back in the glade, Albie awakens fully changed, revealing shocking truths. He remembers Wicked, remembers Thomas and Teresa working with them, and insists the maze was never meant to be escaped. Before anyone can process this, the maze doors stay open and grievers flood the glade. Chaos erupts as grievers attack from every direction. Boys are captured, stung, and killed as panic spreads. Thomas, Teresa, and the others fight desperately to protect each other, using fire, weapons, and sheer will. Albie sacrifices himself to save the group, telling Thomas to lead them out. When the monsters finally retreat, the survivors are left broken, angry, and desperate for answers. If you were trapped in a place where breaking the rules might save everyone, but following them guarantees death, what would you do in that moment? Risk everything or stay where it's safe? Overwhelmed by guilt and suspicion, Thomas injects himself with griever venom to unlock his memories. Teresa saves him with the final vial, and when he wakes, he remembers everything. Wicked created the maze to study immune children, pushing them through extreme stress to find a cure for a deadly virus destroying the world. The maze was never punishment, it was preparation. Gally seizes control, believing escape means death, but Thomas rallies those willing to follow him. Half the group chooses freedom over fear. They enter the maze together, fighting through grievers, crossing collapsing bridges, and losing friends along the way. Chuck risks his life to recover the device, proving his courage when it matters most. Reaching the hidden exit, the group faces their final test as multiple grievers attack at once. With teamwork and sacrifice, they activate the code and force their way inside, crushing the monsters behind them. On the other side, they find a modern facility filled with dead scientists and surveillance footage revealing the glade was always watched. A recorded message from Dr. Ava Page explains the truth. The world was destroyed by solar flares in a virus called the Flare. Wicked believed these children were humanity's last hope. As the message ends, Gally appears, stung and unstable. In the chaos, a stray bullet kills Chuck, who dies in Thomas's arms, thanking him for trying. Armed forces storm the facility, escorting the survivors to a helicopter under the promise of safety. As they lift off, the boys believe their nightmare is finally over, unaware they are still pieces in a much larger plan. Below them, the maze fades into the distance, a completed trial marked by loss, courage, and irreversible change. Elsewhere, Dr. Ava Page reveals she's still alive, calmly observing that Thomas took the bait and that Phase 2 is ready to begin. The experiment is far from over, and the survivors' ordeal was only the beginning of something far more dangerous and controlled. If you enjoyed this intense journey through survival, mystery, and sacrifice, make sure to like the video, subscribe to great animation recaps, turn on the notification bell so you're the first to catch our next epic story, drop your thoughts in the comments, and keep watching for more powerful movie recaps that bring unforgettable worlds to life.